I'm Darren Pytel, the Davis Police Chief, and thank you for being here this afternoon. So we are here to deliver the news to the entire community that everybody's been waiting to hear. We've made an arrest. But before we get into the details, I first want to express my deepest, sincerest condolences to the families of David and Kareem. The lives of David and Kareem were brutally taken this last week, and I also wish a speedy recovery to Kim, who was severely wounded in the knife attack just a few days ago. She's recovering in the hospital, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery and that she'll soon be released. These crimes were horrific. They're hard to imagine. They struck fear in the community, and we know that. We've also experienced loss. David and Kareem were taken way too soon. We will never truly understand the sadness or sense of loss for their families, and we will miss them. We hope that the announcement today provides some level of relief. I want to thank the entire regional law enforcement system and national. We have allied agencies here, and on our website, you'll see a list of all the agencies that helped us out in the last week, and there are many. Everybody wanted to chip in and provide a level of support to the city of Davis. I also want to thank our community. They've shown steadfast support for us and demonstrated support through their amazing acts of kindness over the last few days. And afterwards, I can get into some of the things that the community has done for us. I want to thank the members of the Davis Police Department. I couldn't be more proud of all of the work that they've done in this past week. It's been a busy week, and most of them have received very little sleep. They've been working nonstop during this entire investigation. You wouldn't know it by the quality of the work being done. They left no stone unturned. Now, for a short recap of why we're here. The first homicide occurred on April 27th, 2023 at 11:20 a.m., and that's when it's reported. We responded to a welfare check over in Central Park, and the responding units found a person deceased, David Breaux. He had been stabbed many times, and it was apparent that it was a particularly brazen and brutal attack. We launched an investigation, collected a lot of physical evidence, and immediately started looking for who may be responsible. The problem with this one is there was no eyewitnesses, and so we had to wait for evidence to come back through the investigation. And then just 2 nights later, we had another attack. And this one, Kareem was in the park, Sycamore Park, located in central West Davis, and he was violently attacked and stabbed many times. A witness had seen the last part of the attack, had a short interaction with the suspect, who took off going westbound out of the park. We immediately started a search, but we weren't able to locate the suspect that night. 2 nights later, we had another attack. Kimberly was in a tent located at 2nd and L Street, and she had just gone to bed. She was alone, and we had a person slash the side of the tent, reach in and stab her several times. She called 911 and said that she'd been stabbed. The responding officers arrived shortly thereafter. They conducted a search, but again, were unable to locate the suspect. She was transported to the UCD Med Center. She underwent surgery for the stab wounds, and she is recovering, which is good news. The initial crimes were both investigated as homicides, and of course we launched an attempt homicide investigation for the 3rd stabbing. And everybody's asked, are the 3 crimes related? And well, we investigated, it was certainly more probable than not that they were. We didn't know whether we had several attackers out there or one, so we had to keep all options on the table. So this brings us to the arrest, and this is how it went down. Yesterday afternoon, we had about 15 callers over near Central West Davis, near Sycamore Park, and they reported seeing a person who matched the description that we had provided after the third attack. All of them reported kind of the same thing. A person was at the park, was wearing the same clothing that we had put out in the description, and that he was wandering around. We were a little behind on some of the calls, like had seen him a couple minutes ago or 10 minutes ago, but eventually one of the callers said, I'm following him right now, and was able to lead us to the person. He was stopped by several patrol officers, and they had a short conversation. It appeared that he had some physical evidence on him that might be part of the investigation, and he was wearing really the same clothing that was described by the witnesses after the third attack. This looked like a match. So they spoke to him briefly, and at this point, it was becoming a little bit of a neighborhood spectacle. So they asked if he would be willing to come downtown here so that they could speak with them, and he agreed. The detectives met with him, and they spent many hours interviewing him. And based on the interview, physical evidence that we were able to collect from him and the clothing and other physical evidence at that point that was starting to come in, we decided to first arrest him for possessing a large knife that was on his person when he was picked up. He was wearing a backpack, and in the backpack was a large knife that was consistent with one that we were looking for based on evidence from the first homicide. So having this information, the detectives worked pretty diligently throughout the night, and just about an hour ago, placed him under arrest on 2 counts of homicide for David Breaux and Kareem Najim, and for 1 count of attempt murder for Kimberly. He is now at the Yolo County Jail, and the district attorney will be reviewing our reports in the coming days to determine any final charging decisions. I can't thank the city of Davis and our community for their support. It's pretty remarkable. 15 people took a description that we had put out, and actually all of you in the media had helped us put out, and they saw a person who matched the description, and they called. And that led directly to the arrest in this case. This was a partnership between all the law enforcement professionals, some that you see up here, and our community members who stepped up. That's pretty remarkable and pretty amazing. These horrific crimes have resulted in immeasurable loss to the victims' families and friends and to our community. But as we move forward together, it also demonstrates Davis has compassion, a deep sense of community when faced with tragedy. We are a resilient community. Having been here my entire life, I can tell you we've been through tragedies before, and we'll get through this one. I have no doubt that normal life will resume today. There's still much work to be done, and we'll get it done. We're committed to a successful prosecution now. And now, Mayor Arnold is going to speak, and after he speaks, I'll come back up and answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for all of your work and your dedication over the course of this investigation. It's because of the fine police work that we are here today to announce that the individual believed to be responsible for these horrific, brutal attacks is no longer free to terrorize our community. This is a remarkable achievement for the Davis Police Department to bring these cases to this point so quickly. The arrest today is the culmination of excellent investigative work by the Davis Police, as well as our regional and national law enforcement partners. I commend and thank them, these professionals who worked around the clock to ensure that this criminal is taken out of our neighborhoods and is now in custody. I also commend the people of Davis who worked together to keep each other safe and supported, and who shared tips and critical information to help crack this case. A murderer is off the streets, and our families will sleep easier tonight. The work is not over by any means, and there remains critical investigative police efforts to ensure that this perpetrator is brought to justice. And while this arrest, no doubt, brings an element of closure to our community and to the families of the victims, let us not forget that their lives have been irreparably impacted. We will never forget David and Kareem. And we will continue to hope and pray that Kim makes a full and speedy recovery. We must remain committed as a community to supporting them with love and compassion. I know we have it in us. Now the work begins in earnest to heal as a community, to take back our shared spaces, and to move forward as one. Thank you.